So hello, welcome. England smashed Italy in the scoreline, but if we look at it more carefully, they probably didn't do as well as the scoreline would suggest. Firstly, apologies, I didn't do any predictions, just didn't have time, I'm afraid. I don't know if I'll be able to do them, but anyway, I would have predicted an England win, but probably not by that much. But I think it hides some deep-lying problems. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm happy with the win, and there's definitely loads of positives I'll come to, but if England played like they did in the first half, I think they'd be down against a good side. Say Wales, I think they'd be 10-15 points down, and I can't see them coming back even with their fitness in the bench. So actually, you know, England played quite poorly in that first half, and were a little bit lucky they were playing Italy, and then when they played a lot better in the second half and brought on better players, I may add, then it looked a lot better than maybe the performance was. The massive positive I can see is the pack is really shaping up. Apart from the 7, I'll just leave that aside for a bit, apart from the 7, there is so much strength in depth, and the players coming on are or will be better than the players starting pretty much. For example, Jamie George is better than Dylan Hartley. We know that. Eddie Jones has gone for experience, fine, but when does he start George? For me, he should start next game because he's a better player, but he's not going to do that because he's his captain. I just hope he gives Jamie George more time, maybe 10 minutes into the second half, make the change. Second row options are coming out of his ears. I think any of those 4 are fantastic. Itoje's making a great play for playing at 6. I mean, he's a young second row, so he can probably get away with playing at 6. And I know I'm going to be saying maybe Itoje at 6, Clifford at 7 instead of Haskell and Robshaw. That's replacing, you know, 2 flankers, replacing them with a number 8 and a second row. But where are you going with Haskell and Robshaw? I can't see where you're going. They're not going to play in the World Cup. They're not going to win a World Cup. As good as they are, as committed as they are and experienced as they are not going to be world class. Maybe Itoje and Clifford will. So what's there to lose? I think just go for it, put them in for me. So my change is George in at number 2, and then on the flanks, Itoje at 6 and Clifford at 7. Why not? Billy Vunipola backs up his performance again. Again, you'll see all my player scores coming up in the video. You can compare those to the ones against Scotland. Ben Young's got man of the match somehow. I don't know how. He was good, he was okay, but compared to Danny Care, for me it's a clear winner. Danny Care's the clear winner. All his movements are quicker, sharper. Care looks more confident. Young just doesn't fill me with... he looks a bit lethargic. He doesn't fill me with confidence for some reason. That's just my gut feeling. You may differ your opinion. Please let me know. Back 3 were quiet because that midfield is awful. As in, the balance is awful. Sure, you know, Farrell scored a try, Joseph scored 3 tries, but if you're a defending team, just have a think about it like this. Who do you fear in that? Maybe Joseph for his outside break, but Ford and Farrell are both passers. They've got no real running threat, no real pace, no real size, so you're almost ignoring them as running threats and just working out what they're doing. You can back off, drift off, and then when you know what you're doing, make your tackle. And it's just not going to be right until England get that ball carrier. I get it that Eddie Jones probably doesn't have that option. He would if he'd brought in Luther Burrell. I said it for the World Cup, Burrell should have been in. I don't think Burrell's a world-class player or will be, but he's the best we've got fit at the moment, so I just can't see why you wouldn't use him, but it's too late anyway. He could put in Devoto, but that's a big risk. He could play Daly in Jonathan Joseph at 12 and 13, that would be cool, but again, where's that big ball carrier? When Tuilagi's back, he's going to walk into the team, absolutely walk into the team, because England are crying out for it. 2 tactical things I want to talk about. One was when Billy Vunipola wrapped around to Farrell and he set up the try, almost a carbon copy of Mako, his brother, in the game before. So clearly they're working on the ball carrier, the big ball carriers, taking the ball to the line at the last minute, offloading, because that will fix defences. Kind of the opposite of what's true in the England midfield. They haven't got anyone that can do that. So that's why that works, because people are setting themselves to tackle those big guys. And secondly, just have a look at this freeze frame of Jamie George going through the line and offloading. Cheekily, the camera cuts to Dylan Hartley, who's going, wow, because there's no way Hartley would have done that or could have done that. So another reason why Jamie George should start. And another interesting thing, here's a freeze frame of Jamie George coming into play scrum half very quickly and whisking the ball away. Eddie Jones loves everyone to play scrum half if needed. He said that on record before. Jamie George came in and whisked it away and England scored the try. Is there any more evidence you need to start Jamie George? Well, hopefully it will come soon. And just have a look in this freeze frame. There's two lines of runners coming in. Two flat forwards coming in, and then the ball carrier can pick either one. I really like this sort of play. They pick the outside runner, which is Jamie George, and then he can get his offload in because the defence hasn't lined you up. So anyway, I'm happy with the win. It covered up some cracks. Like I said, that first half performance wouldn't be good enough against the best sides. I'd like to see more changes than probably what will happen. England's fixture list have been great to them, haven't they? You know, Scotland and Italy first, the two weaker teams, then Ireland probably, you know, not in great form, some of their best players missing, so that's great, and then comes the big test against Wales. So it stacks up nicely for England. I'm not sure they're going to make the changes as early as I'd like them, but I'm hoping Eddie Jones knows what he's doing and he'll get them in there soon. My prediction, I'll go straight away for next week against Ireland. If he makes a change, I think he's going to go Clifford in at 7. If he makes that change, I think that will be enough to beat Ireland at home. Again, I think it'll be close, maybe 5 points, but England are building nicely. They've certainly got to address their balance issues, but they could win the championship. Anyway, until next time, enjoy your rugby, and I'll see you after the Ireland game in 2 weeks.